Hi there, welcome to Camping Secrets. I'm Marky Mark. I want to talk today about sleeping systems and specifically whether I recommend going with a camping cot, camping bed kind of way of sleeping, or the traditional inflatable sleeping mat. So I've got the Helinox Cot Light here. It retails for about £270. It is top of the range. It's pretty darn lightweight. It's about 1.2 kilograms. When I use my own scales, it weighs about 1.3, I think. 1.28 kilograms for that.
I like it a lot.
Now you can get really lightweight sleeping mats. You know, some of the Thermarest models are, 300 grams, 400 grams. I use this Zempire Monster Light single airbed most of the time because I find it comfortable, but it is heavy. Oh, so let's just measure that one. That's actually 1.5 kilograms. So it's heavier than the bed, but most of the time that's not a problem because I don't do massive walks when I'm wild camping. I typically just do, 2 or 3 miles with the backpack on. And with that, an extra, 500 grams for a sleeping mat is not a problem. And that's why a bed is a good option if it's lightweight, because I tell you something, the comfort of a bed in a tent is unparalleled in comparison with any sleeping mat on the market.
Oh, behave.
But there are other advantages and disadvantages, and I'm going to go through those in this video. So let's dig into it. Okay, so let's start with the sleeping mat first. So the Zempire Monster Light comes in its own stuffed sack, and this doubles as air bellows for pumping it up. Now, if you're anything like me, I find that a really annoying process. You have to basically capture the air and then you fold it up so you get this big bellow of air, and then you use this valve on the end to plug it into the mat and transfer the air from the bag into the sleeping mat. Now, I hate doing this with a passion. It takes many goes, maybe 10 fills of the bag, transferring it. And it can take a long time. It can take 15 minutes, and often when you've just set up your tent, you don't want to be spending that time. So I invested in this little Flextail pump. It's a mini pump, USB charged, really nice. That'll charge it up in about 2 to 3 minutes, which is about the same time as it is to put this up. So let's just show that. This comes with a little valve, which you just plug onto the Flextail. And this is an extra thing you have to buy. They cost about 25 quid. There's a link in the description below if you're interested. But honestly, I hate the stuff sack for that. So that's getting out of this. So let's pump this thing up. So this is a heavy sleeping mat, but it does have a good R rating of about 2.9, I think. And it's not super expensive. It was about £130, I think. So about half the price of the bed, which was £270. Okay, so that's the sleeping pad setup. It took about 2 minutes 20. Okay, let's get the bed set up. Let's get it out of the sack to compare. My guess is it'll take slightly longer than the sleeping mat, but possibly not much. Now, if you've not seen this kind of bed before, check out my review on the link up in that corner, I think there, and see what I thought of it. Right, start the stopwatch. Yes. that's it. So 3 minutes, 10 seconds. So the bed takes slightly longer than the mat. But remember, the mat was using a pump, which is cheating really, but I'll let myself off today. So let's talk about price again. This Helinox bed is probably the best on the market. It is so lightweight. As I said, it's actually lighter than the sleeping pad, this particular one, but it costs £270. But it is good quality. It's got a 5-year warranty. These things don't break. So the purpose of this discussion is to understand which is the best for camping. And, you know, I think all of you are going to say, right, well, this pad is a monster. It's literally called a Monster Light Thermo. And you would argue that, you know, this isn't representative of most pads, but it is the pad that I use. I find it really comfortable. But one downside of it is when you're sleeping on it with a sleeping bag directly on top, I find I slide around. And if the ground you're on has a tilt, I found over the night I'm sliding off down the gradient on this thing. So and I've found that with nearly every sleeping pad I've ever used. The great thing with the bed is that you don't suffer from that problem. I don't know what it is, but they've used a sort of nylon material here which has got some grip on it. So if we lie on this bed, you just stay where you are, and this is a bit of a downhill here, and I just very comfortable here even though it's raining. So that's one advantage of the bed. Another is that you're suspended. With this bed, you're suspended. The canvas supports your weight by bowing in the middle, and you're like on a hammock. That's what it feels like. It suspends you. You feel extremely comfortable. On the sleeping pad, on the other hand, you're closer to the ground. You can sometimes feel, you know, if you haven't got enough air in it, you can feel your hips sometimes. This is a really thick one. I mean, it's about 10 centimeters thick. And to be honest, I'm not sliding here because I've got clothes on, but often in a sleeping bag, I do slide on this material. It is comfortable, I've got to say. It's a very good sleeping mat for the money. So what are the pros and cons of each? Well, this has got a good R rating, so it is suitable for sort of winter conditions. R rating, anything over 2, you can use pretty cold conditions. You know, some of the thermarests are 4 or higher, but this is 2.9, I think, and I've had no problems in the winter months with this. The bed, on the other hand, hasn't got any R value. You're off the ground completely, so there's no contact really apart from the feet with the ground, so you're not going to get conduction upwards, but potentially you're going to have cold air coming under and you're just lying on top, and that can chill you in the winter months. But I've got to admit, I've never used this in really snowy conditions. I like to use this more in the summer months, and I find it works well if it's hot. You get good cooling, but you don't overheat. So I do find the bed superior for summer wild camps.
What's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
I mentioned that you get better support on the bed, and that's true. One other thing to mention is if you are, say, on rocky terrain, it may be easier to put something like this down because you've just got legs and you're off the ground. A sleeping mat on those conditions could be uncomfortable. And this brings me to the other disadvantage of a sleeping mat. On sort of sharp or rugged rocks or something like that, it could be quite easy to get a puncture in one of these. And yes, you can put patches on to repair that, but I never bring them, and that's probably my fault. So I'm always in danger with this thing of having a really bad night's sleep if I get a puncture. You saw earlier that the pack size of these was pretty similar, but there's no solid parts in the sleeping pad. So I'd call that an advantage for the sleeping pad because you can sort of mold the shape of it when it's in your rucksack. This has got some fixed poles, solid poles, and the side ones when folded. So you are a little bit more restricted. Yes, the pack size is similar. Yes, the weight is actually less with this, but because it's solid, it's more like a tent when packed up. And so it has to go in a certain position in your rucksack. So I'd say that's a slight disadvantage of the bed. The bed definitely helps if you get back problems like I have. I do get a much better sleep on the bed as opposed to the pad. And then I didn't want to talk about it, but the price. This is double the price of this particular pad. Other pads are more expensive, say the Thermarests or the Big Agnes SL Rapide. You know, they're 150 to even more, 170 quid sometimes. But you're still not as expensive as this bed. So price-wise, the pad will always win. So conclusions, what's my favorite? I gotta say, overall, I really like the bed, but it is heavy. And this pad is an exception. It is extremely heavy. 1.5 kilograms for a pad is ridiculous, but it's about the comfiest pad I've ever had. And for me, comfort trumps weight because I don't do massive long walks. I maybe do, as I said, 2 to 3 miles before I set up camp. So I basically feel in the summer months, I like the bed. It is a bit lighter than my pad. In the winter, I think the pad takes it because it's got that reflective layer and the high R value. But it's a close run thing. The bed is superb. And I do recommend both. So check out the links in the description. I've got a link for the Helinox. I don't know if you can still buy this one, but if I can find a link, I'll pop that in for you. I don't know, what do you think? What's your favorite, bed or sleeping pad? Let me know in the comments. It's probably an endless topic and we can talk about it down the pub over a pint. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Marky Mark. This has been Camping Secrets. Please like and subscribe and come back for more videos soon. Bye for now.